Happy New Year from us here at America's Coaster Network. Last week, December 29th, 2022, marked 1 year of AC on YouTube, and what a year it was. From covering the construction of Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Six Flags Magic Mountain, to the announcements of Pipeline the Surf Coaster at SeaWorld Orlando, Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park, and listing our top coasters that opened in specific years, so far covering 2001 to 2006, and much more. We also reached north of 1,400 subscribers, which is icing on the cake after our own mom subbed to the channel. It's been one heck of a ride. You know, speaking of rides, 2023 is looking like one of the best years for new coasters in a very long time. In this video, we'll rank the new coasters that we are most excited for in 2023. Okay, let's go. We'll be starting off this list with an exception to the rule. American Dryer Looping at Indiana Beach isn't even close to a new coaster. Instead, this Schwarzkopf classic opened in 1984 and traveled the German fair circuit, and then it was relocated a few times to parks nowhere close to the US. It was the first coaster in the world with 3 vertical loops and gained a reputation as one of the most intense coasters in the world. So we are absolutely thrilled that it's ending up in the US with its latest move, as it's the perfect addition to Indiana Beach. Not counting Top Thrill Dragster, Wild Mouse will be Cedar Point's 17th coaster, because as stated in our previous video, Pipe Scream isn't a coaster. And while it's kinda weird that a park known for adding higher capacity coasters would add a super low capacity Wild Mouse coaster to its lineup, it's nice to see Cedar Point give love to families again, and we love how it'll pay homage to the park's original Wild Mouse coaster. After being delayed for 3 seasons, at long last, Aquaman Power Wave is finally opening at Six Flags Over Texas in 2023. We hope. This Mock Rides Power Splash should be a great addition to the park that is in need of more water rides to help beat that Texas heat. And it's the park's first roller coaster in 6 years. We hope the delay, mostly caused by another loading station being added, is worth it. We're very happy to see our Power Splash model finally being built in the US, nonetheless. If SeaWorld's goal was to make us forget about Blackfish, it's beginning to work. SeaWorld San Diego continues to be aggressive with its roller coaster additions. Arctic Rescue is the park's 4th new coaster in 5 years, and 6th overall. And while the ride type is one the park already has in Manta, a family launch coaster, this one is being built by Intamin, features tired propel launches, and will have a straddle seating theme to a snowmobile. Ironically, it'll be the exact same length as Manta at 2,800 feet. But SeaWorld San Diego has started marketing itself as your go-to spot for family-friendly rides. So it sort of makes sense to do something similar to Manta, one of the most popular and intense family coasters in the US. Hopefully they theme it to more than gravel. We don't think anyone saw this coming, especially after Six Flags opened their first new B&M coaster in 10 years with Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in 2022. But the park is back at it again. Fiesta Texas had been mostly thrill focused in the last 15 years, adding Goliath, Iron Rattler, Batman the Ride, Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, and Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger in that time span. So this currently unnamed single rail family racing coaster by Skyline Attractions is a perfect fit. And it'll give kids early in their coaster riding careers a step up to the larger coasters in the park. And speaking of kids, Dollywood is expanding their already amazing kids area Wildwood Grove with the addition of Big Bear Mountain. It's being built by Vekoma, who is making a bit of a comeback this year in the US, with Big Bear Mountain being the first of 3 of their coasters on this list. The ride will be the park's longest coaster in terms of track length, almost 4,000 feet. It features 3 limb launches and mostly sits on a hillside in the back of the park. Dollywood already has a big, beautiful front side, so we're really happy to see some work done to the back side. In all seriousness, we're really excited for Vekoma's new direction and can't wait to see more of the coasters pop up throughout the country. In what feels like a new for 2022 coaster because plans were leaked over a year ago, Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg will be basically Arctic Rescue in a box and themed to a raging storm instead of snow. It's taking the spot of Curse of Dark Castle, which was a dark ride with motion simulating vehicles. And although Busch Gardens skimped on Pantheon's theming, the concept art for Dark Coaster theming looks really good, and you will experience most of its track twice. Hence why this coaster ranks towards the middle of our list. Cedar Fair is finally giving some long overdue love to Worlds of Fun, who are opening Zambezi Zinger, their first new coaster in 14 years. Like Wild Mouse at Cedar Point, it'll pay homage to the original Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun, which was a Schwarzkopf speed racer that had a spiral lift. Instead, this Zambezi Zinger will be a hybrid wooden coaster from Great Coasters International, with steel Titan track on its spiral lift and adjacent curve. It'll also feature a lot of low-to-the-ground turns hugging that hilly terrain, sort of like Prowler in the same park, which is one of our favorite GCIs, and Worlds of Fun's aforementioned most recent coaster way back in 2009. It's about time Arizona got a coaster worth making a trip to the desert, cause Desert Storm at Castles and Coasters ain't it, Chief. Hot Wheels Twin Mill Racer will be the star attraction at the new for 2023 Mattel Adventure Park in Glendale, Arizona, just outside Phoenix. This Chance Rides Hyper GTX coaster is the second of its type in the US, but it'll be the first one with inversions, and reportedly the first one with a launch. Not much else is currently known about this coaster, but construction is well underway, so we should be learning more about it soon. After a long wait, Lagoon finally announced Primordial, a coaster that we've known about for years, even down to the name, but they didn't give us much in terms of details of what the ride will do. They're calling it a one-of-a-kind interactive coaster and a ride experience like you've never seen. Construction started in 2018, and we thought we'd see a 2020 opening, then a 2021, and then 2022 came and mostly went, but in November, Lagoon announced that it would be opening in 2023. We're really excited to get back to Lagoon this year, our first return visit since 2008. Everyone thought the concept was dead, but the stand-up coaster is back. Pipeline the Surf Coaster at SeaWorld Orlando will feature an all-new design for Bolliger and Mabillard. New trains will be 2 across and feature seats that flex up and down. And unlike previous stand-up coasters, it'll launch. We're quite excited for this new prototype from B&M, so check out the link during our end screen after this video to hear more of our thoughts about it. Air Force One at Fun Spot America just outside Atlanta, Georgia will be the first true ground-up iBox RMC in the US, unless you count Lightning Rod. To some, this one might seem ranked a little low, but we placed it here because we really don't see it offering anything new other than the Raven Trust Dive inversion, which is essentially a modified dive loop. While that seems negative, it's still an RMC. Geez, are we at that point where we're just desensitized by new RMCs? At least that Outer Bank turn over the station looks bananas, and Air Force One has placed Fun Spot America Atlanta on the map, even before it opened. But it likely won't be the best RMC coming to the US in 2023. More on that shortly. Codaland is really going all out for 2023. Palindrome is one of 2 coasters currently under construction at this newish theme park at Circuit of the Americas racetrack in Austin, Texas. In what will be the first shuttle and fitting coaster model from Gerstlauer in the US, it features a vertical lift, a twisted straight drop, a 0G stall, a wave turn, an inline twist, and a vertical rollback. Then most of those elements are taken in reverse. Palindrome looks extremely promising, especially with its first and last inversion over the racetrack. Race fast, safe car. The other Rocky Mountain construction coaster on this list is Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park, the company's 25th. This wood-to-steel hybrid conversion of the GCI coaster Wildcat fills one of the only gaps in Hershey Park's already stacked lineup. Now, it has similar stats to Air Force One in terms of height and number of inversions, but the layout here feels much more interesting with how it twists around, versus the very linear layout of Air Force One. And we are certain that almost everyone is happy to see Wildcat go away. This RMC makeover will most definitely be a crowd pleaser. And now something we thought we would never say. Our top 2 most anticipated coasters this year come from Vekoma. When Gravity Max opened at Discovery World in Taipei in 2002, coaster fans were waiting for the day that a tilt coaster would come to the US. And now, more than 2 decades later, we are. Circuit Breaker at Codaland, while having the same tilting first drop, will feature an all-new layout. Gone is the single vertical loop seen on Gravity Max, and in its place, a layout of 4 less than usual inversions, which should make for one incredible ride. As if the tilting first drop wasn't enough. And lastly, yet another delayed coaster. Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom was supposed to open in 2021 for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, but was delayed due to the events of 2020. Thankfully, the wait is almost over. Ever since Tron Light Cycle Power Run opened at Shanghai Disneyland in 2016, we've been wanting to see one in the US. And while it might be a family coaster, the lighting effects and overall theming really put it over the top for us. Same reason why Space Mountain is so good. Florida sure is stacked with some incredible rides. Alright, and with that, our list of our most anticipated coasters coming in 2023 is complete. What are some of your favorite coasters debuting this year? Let us know your top 5 in the comments below. And, as always, thank you for watching.